We're living it up, palm trees with sea breeze. We're living it up, no clouds with blue seas. We're on a jet ski, living this life, tropical island paradise. We're living it up, palm trees with sea breeze.
Nothing I say is financial advice and shouldn't be constituted as financial advice. I'm a grown-ass man in a Spider-Man mask who gives you fire crypto information. Again, none of this is financial advice. Make your own decisions. What is up, everybody? I am Mr. Man. Welcome back to my page. Today I have fire for you. We are going to be talking about the e-HKD, which is China's digital dollar. Okay? This is their wholesale dollar, and I think it can be used as a retail dollar too, because theirs is direct from the central bank to the retail bank. All right, there's no intermediary there, like a clearinghouse of sorts. It's the central banks and the commercial banks, and that's how theirs is, the one-tier system. So, I think I say so a lot. So this is what we have here. We have a PDF here from China. This is their website up here, the HKD. hkma.gov.hk media, blah, 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 blah. We're going back in time here to learn about the architecture of this dollar here and how Ripple plays a pinnacle role in this, and how, because Ripple is playing a pinnacle role in this, XRP is encompassed in all this. And I'll show you how big of an opportunity this is for us, because we are in early. All right? Thank me later. I'm done being dead serious. Thank me later. I got you guys, man. I love y'all like fam. Love y'all like fam. Executive summary. Over the past year, central banks across the world have been exploring central CBDCs. The HKMA first begun its CBDC journey in 2017, which they released this in the 2022 Olympics at that point. And has been actively collaborating with other central banks and the BIS, Innovation Hub, also known as the BISI, BISIH, on wholesale CBDCs and the project mBridge. Okay? In June 2021, the HKMA commenced project e-HKD. So there is a difference between the e-HKD and the ECNY. I do want you to know what that is. So here we are in Perplexity. Perplexity is the AI I use to chat with every now and again. And I asked it, what's the difference between the e-HKD and the ECNY? So here we go. The e-HKD and the ECNY are both CBDCs that are being developed by the HKMA and the PBOC, respectively. However, there are some differences between the two. Issuing authority of the e-HKD is being developed by the HKMA, while the ECNY is being developed by the PBOC. Distribution model, the PBOC relies on private sector banks to distribute and maintain the ECNY accounts of their customers, while the HKMA has not yet announced its distribution model. Cross-border payments, the PBOC has been extending cross-border activities using ECNY specifically for the ASEAN, while the HKMA has not yet announced cross-border applications for e-HKD. It's worth noting that both HKD and ECNY are still in development. So what's the use of the e-HKD and the ECNY? That to provide a digital version of fiat currencies that are issued and backed by central banks. Both e-HKD and ECNY aim to provide the efficiency of central bank payment systems, provide a backup or redundancy to the retail system, and make payments more efficient. Additionally, the e-HKD is being developed to explore its use in DeFi and cryptocurrency. ECNY has been extending cross-border activity, specifically with the ASEAN, to extend the Chinese currency's international reach. The HKMA is not yet... Okay, so we know about that already. All right. So let's get back to that document here. Project e-HKD to study the feasibility of retail CBDC or RCBDC in Hong Kong, covering both technical and policy considerations. Following the release of the HKMA technical white paper or technical design options for the RCBDC, this paper provides a wide-ranging study of other issues, including use cases, potential benefits, and challenges, as well as design and legal considerations. for the introductions of e-HKD. So majority of these POCs taking place. POCs means proof of concepts. A lot of it right now has to do with policy. So it's mainly about policy. That is one of the biggest use cases right now, because policy has to be implemented first before they would do anything beyond a policy, right? If there's no policy in place, they're not going to be exploring for other use cases. They have to know that policy exists. So once policy exists, they have now a box to operate within, and they cannot extend beyond that box. If they do extend beyond that box, they're heading outside of their scope. Okay? So here we are now in the document at the use case portion. In our use case, the HKMA has so far received a few suggestions on the potential use case of the e-HKD. It is generally believed that the introduction of e-HKD could further enhance private sector innovation at the retail wallets layer. Keep in mind, retail is you and me, if you're Chinese in China, in Hong Kong. Other suggestions raised include the use of the e-HKD in offline payments. If you had seen my Tale of Two Coins, you would see I brought up Project Polaris for offline payments, and is a compliance tool to perform functionalities not available previously. For example, AML, anti-money laundering, regulatory compliance checking. While such possibilities have a lot of potential, mass retail adoption would only occur when the public sees very tangible benefits for them. Very tangible benefits. I'm sure there's some crisis that can exist to create a very tangible benefit. Given the plethora of convenient retail payment options in Hong Kong, that would require an RCBDC that would address some existing pain points, open up new or innovative use, provide complementary with private money, or is more convenient than existing payment options. In light of these considerations, further studies would be required to deliberate how a potential e-HKD platform should be designed. We would also be mindful that such an e-HKD platform must be forward compatible and future-proof to accommodate the objectives and possible use cases specific to Hong Kong's circumstances. Did you hear that? Compatible and future-proof. That's beautiful. Moving on. So here we are on the HKMA's website. All right, here we go. See the name up there. CBDC. This is 2017. The HKMA has been researching CBDC since 2017 to understand their benefits and potential applications. As part of the FinTech 2025 strategy announced in 2021, the HKMA has placed increased emphasis on strengthening its research work to increase Hong Kong's readiness in issuing both CBDCs at both wholesale and retail level. In 2017, the HKMA commenced Project Lion Rock, named after Hong Kong's most iconic mountain. This is Lion Rock here in Hong Kong. That's actually very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. That's what the project is named after. In collaboration with the 3 note issuing banks and Hong Kong Interbank Clearing Limited, this proof of concept project studied potential applications of CBDC in handling large value payments, and delivery versus payment settlement, DVP. Okay, this is exciting. In 2019, the HKMA and the Bank of Thailand initiated Project Inthenon Lion Rock, which later became Project mBridge, okay, to study the application of a CBDC to cross-border payments. The project was completed in 2019, and a DLT-based POC, proof of concept prototype, was developed successfully together with 10 participating banks from both parties. The HKMA and the bot jointly published a leaflet in November 2019. It's always November. Always November is when the important information comes out. I mean, there's important information throughout the year, but the big information is always November. And a report in January 2020 to present the key findings. Inthenon Lion Rock, leveraging DLT to increase efficiency in cross-border payments. Here is that leaflet I was just telling you about. Okay. So now here's the participating organizations. I'm not going to go dive deep into this, okay? But I just want you guys to see this here, that I have this information, and I want to get this out to you guys because this channel does its research. I'm a one-man wrecking crew. I do have help from my friends every now and again online, but other than that, this is 99.9% individual, all right? And here's that report about Lion Intanon Lion Rock, my bad, with China, HKMA, and the Bank of Thailand. All right, but we're not going to spend time on this here. I just want you guys to know that we got this stuff, all right? And there's the same institutions working with them. So moving on, let's go back. Close this out. Okay. Project Intanon Lion Rock entered the second phase in 2020 with the joining of the Digital Currency Initiative of the PBOC and, well, I guess People's Bank of China and the Central Bank of United Arab Emirates in February 2021, and with the strong support of the Bank for International Settlements Center in Hong Kong, the project has evolved into the third phase and was now named mBridge. This is Project mBridge. Okay? So, moving on, now that we know this. So here, this came out in September 2022. The HKMA's policy stance on e-HKD. Policy always leads the way before anything else can be done. Without policy in place, nothing else is going on. For policy to now exist, a new group must be formed to lead these initiatives. They're known as steering groups, and then you have the policy group, and they make their own policy groups. They'll take someone from this bank, someone from this bank, someone from this FI, someone from somewhere else, and they are now the lead in that policy group, and then they have the steering group. So then these guys create the policy, and these guys steer it based off of what this policy group is suggesting and navigating them, implementing and telling them what to do. These guys will navigate the seas with where they need to go based off of the policies provided here. All right, that's how this works. The HKMA released a position paper titled e-HKD, charting the next steps to set out its policy stance on retail CBDCs, i.e., or example, the HKD. As part of its FinTech 2025 strategy to future-proof Hong Kong in terms of CBDC readiness, the HKMA has examined the prospect of issuing e-HKD in Hong Kong from both the technical and policy perspectives. 2 rounds of market consultations, one on high-level technical design and one on key policy and design issues, were conducted. Policy always leads. In total, 75 responses were received during the consultation. Overall, the responses are supportive of the e-HKD initiative and believe that the e-HKD has the potential to make payments more effective while supporting the digital economy. Awesome. Moving on. Ripple, this is in May now. Ripple and Fubon Bank to showcase real estate asset tokenization use case as part of the Hong Kong Monetary Authority's inaugural e-HKD pilot program. So, an innovative use case combining the e-HKD tokenized real estate and lending protocols will run Ripple's CBDC platform. Ripple, actually before I go on, I want to show you guys this. So here we are at Perplexity again. My question was, how was XRP utilized in the e-HKD pilot program phase 1, which we are going into? You need to know how it's being used. That way you can learn about it, all right? According to the search result, XRP was utilized in phase 1 of the e-HKD pilot program through Ripple's new CBDC platform. XRP was used. The pilot project ran on Ripple's CBDC product using a new private ledger, the XRPL, technology and enhanced functionality, including offline transactions and non-smartphone use. The e-HKD pilot program involved tokenized deposits and programmable payments. Additionally, Fubon Bank partnered with Ripple for a real estate tokenized pilot, which involved tokenized collateral and e-HKD loans to customers using 1-to-1 exchange rate between Hong Kong dollars and the test digital currency. The use of Ripple's CBDC platform, which incorporates Hong Kong digital dollars tokenized real estate, aligns with the technology used in the XRPL. Whew, okay, we're going back. We are going back. So Ripple, leader in the enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions, announced today that it has been selected to showcase a real estate asset tokenized solution as part of the HKMA inaugural e-HKD pilot program. Ripple's only posting about what they utilize and what they're doing, right? They're not posting about things that don't involve them at all. Why would they? Why would they waste their real estate website pages or their real estate on website pages on their website page and bandwidth to post things that have nothing to do with them? Come on. The HKMA has adopted a three-rail approach to prepare for the possible rollouts of the e-HKD as a leading provider offering real asset tokenization capabilities. Ripple, alongside its partners Fubon Bank, a wholly owned subsidiary of Fubon Financial Holdings Co., one of the largest financial holdings companies in Taiwan, will demonstrate its use case under the e-HKD pilot program, which will focus on real estate asset tokenization and equity release leveraging the e-HKD. e-HKD pilot program will see a series of pilots conducted with various industry players to gain in-depth research into application, implementation, and design issues related to the e-HKD. So that was in May, and here we are now, May 18th. That was May 3rd, I believe it was. This is May 18th. Commencement of the program now, of the pilot. The HKMA today, May 18th, that's not today for us, today's 11/11/2023, announced the commencement of the e-HKD pilot program, a total of 16 firms. Here's the list of those 16 firms: Alipay, Ardub, Bank of China, China Construction Bank, Fubon, Ripple, Gaisec, and just G&D, Standard Chartered, Hang Seng Limited, the Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporations Limited, Visa, Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, MasterCard, the Boston Consulting Group, HKT Payments, ZA Bank, the Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation Limited. Okay, those are the 16 participants. From the financial, payments, and technology sectors have been selected to participate in the first round of the pilot for 2023. The pilots will take deep dives into potential use cases in 6 categories, including full-fledged payments, programmable payments, offline payments, tokenized deposits, settlement of Web3 transactions, and settlements of tokenized assets. The HKD pilot program is a key component of 2 rails under the HKMA's 3-rail approach. Here are those 3 rails. So Rail 1 aims to lay the technology and legal foundations for supporting and implementing. There's the policy, the legal supporting that needs to be done under Rail 2, which will run in parallel with Rail 1, and it has to. The HKMA will take deep dives into use cases as well as application, implementation, and design issues relating to the e-HKD. It'll also conduct a series of pilots in close collaboration with various stakeholders to gain actual experience. Rail 3 is concerned with launching the e-HKD. It will consolidate the outcomes of Rail 1 and Rail 2 for more thorough implementation planning and will set the timeline for launching the e-HKD. The progress of Rail 3 will depend on the actual progress made under Rail 1 and Rail 2, as well as the piece of relevant local and international market developments. So, under the pilot program, the HKMA will conduct a series of pilots in close collaboration with various stakeholders to examine the use case as well as implement and design issues relating to the e-HKD. Through this iterative process, the outcomes and insights gained from each pilot would help enrich the HKMA's perspective and refine the HKMA's approach to the possible implementation of the e-HKD. So the HKMA is not yet at a point where a firm decision can be made to introduce the e-HKD. Moving on. So this is October 30th now. The HKMA publishes the e-HKD pilot program Phase 1 report. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority published the e-HKD pilot program Phase 1 report to discuss the key findings, learnings, and the HKMA's assessment of 14 pilots conducted by the 16 participants. So here we are now looking at that report issued by the 16 participants, Phase 1 report. Here's those participants, and now they finally showed Ripple. Isn't that a thing of beauty? I mean, we had R3, we had Standard Chartered, we had HBC, we had HKT, we had G&D, which we couldn't pronounce their name. By we, I mean me. We had the People's Bank of China, HKMA, Alipay, MasterCard there, and Visa. So let's go through it for some of the use cases. Okay, so some of the use cases. Phase 1 of the e-HKD pilot program took deep dives into potential use cases for the e-HKD in 6 categories, namely fully fledged payments, programmable payments, offline payments, tokenized deposits, settlements of Web3 transactions, and settlement of tokenized assets. This section discusses these potential use cases as proposed by pilot participants in the form of 6 case studies. So here they are. That's the participants again, and how they're going to be used. Offline payments is the G&D, Standard Charter. We have tokenized deposits. That's by the Hang Seng, the Hong Kong, Shanghai Bank, and Visa. And this is where Ripple fits in. Settlement of tokenized assets. So Ripple is the settlement, or XRP is the settlement token. XRP will be moving all that value back and forth, all right? So when things are changing hands, they are moving between this one coin. This finger is the coin. This is the coin moving all that value. Real estate here, buys somebody else up here buys it. Money moves from here to there. Like, there's so many different cases for it. XRP is the settlement token for this. All right. Here is the use case 1, full-fledged payment. Physical cash is the only type of central bank money available to the general public today. So if you think you're going to use Bitcoin to escape this, I'm sorry, but policy will not allow that, because that's what's called and known as counterfeiting money. All right, you can't print money today and use it. Bitcoin will find a similar fate, if not be regulated into policy and being used to adhere within that policy framework. So Bitcoin's not a freedom coin, all right? Get this in your head. Get this straight. We're looking at actual use cases now in documents like these. Because in this real world that we live in, this world that we live in here, we don't make the show. We can only control what we can control. Things outside of our control, you either learn what those things are or you fail to accept them. These individuals here make the money. You and me of the world, we use the money. It's out of our control whether we want to use it or not. If you're going to spend money within this economy, you will use this CBDC. If not, good luck, you will be bartering. That's where you'll be left. You'll be bartering. If you can even barter at that point now, because things will be on Web3 with an NFT. An NFT will be the digital twin of, say, this mouse here. So now when I buy this mouse here, this NFT in my wallet states that Mr. Man owns this. So if I swap this with somebody else, or I don't use my NFT and I swap it with somebody else, if I go to court, doesn't say that this ever left my possession because it's still in my wallet as the NFT. So I would win that court case. Hands down, no problem asked, done. So preserving the same characteristics as physical cash, such as negligible transaction cost and instantaneous settlements finality, an e-HKD would also serve as a full-fledged payment alternative, enabling money to be stored and transferred in a similar manner to physical cash and other electronic means of payments. Study 2, programmable payments. Programmable payments allows conditions to be imposed to govern when and how payments should be initiated. It's not what you think. It's not what you think, but programmable money, they can take the money back from you. Get that fear out of your mind. That's not what it is. All right? People who don't study these things have that fear and will put that fear out there and cause you to think delusionally. We are reading the documents, all right? We do our education on this channel here. We don't make things up. We follow the money. Such conditions are typically implemented through the use of smart contracts and conjunction with application programming interfaces, or APIs. Programmable payments are not new and are already used to facilitate direct, debit, and reoccurring payments. However, in other current forms, they only support simple and unidirectional payments, such as bill payments, which are triggered regardless of whether the underlying service has been provided. Where's study number 3? Programmable concepts, yep. So here is some of their workflows. That's subscription. That's prepayment and subscription using the e-HKD, okay? This is their workflow. And they're talking about it, who the banks are, or which banks were involved in that. And remember, XRP was that settlement token, all right? Keep that in mind. Funding, fencing, Alipay, offline payments. Use case number 3. In-person transactions settled through electronic means of payments in real time generally require network connectivity. Despite high cellular network penetration in Hong Kong, an intermediate or lack of network connectivity in some situations could prevent the use of an electronic means of payment, which relies on real-time validation, such as payment terminals supporting settlement using a credit card or a mobile wallet. This can ultimately impact the customer experience and transaction. This also applies to customer or consumer business transactions and peer-to-peer transactions. The banks involved with that were Standard Chartered, G&D, ICBC. And actually, interesting story about ICBC, I gotta show you this. This here is an article that came out just yesterday. Exclusive ICBC hack led to unit temporarily owing 9 billion BNY, okay? BNY 9 billion, okay. So New York Industrial and Commercial Bank of China's hack left its U.S. unit temporarily owing Bank of New York Mellon, BNY Mellon, 9 billion as a result of unsettled trades, prompting the parent to inject capital into the unit to settle the trades. Sources familiar with the matter had said. Just jumping back now. Okay, so here we are now. We've seen who these setups are, who's doing that. Here's the workflow of that. The offline payment workflow. Offline. So here's the phone being utilized. Here's an offline phone being utilized. Here's the offline terminal. And here's the debit card or the credit card or debit card offline terminals. Here we go. Tokenized deposits is a developing area relating to tokenization. It currently does not have a universal industry definition or standard, but is universally industry definition or standard, but is generally understood to refer to digital representation of bank deposits where money deposited with a bank is minted on that institution's own blockchain ledger with the backing of that financial institution's balance sheet. When a depositor transfers their tokenized deposits to another institution, the institution can hypothetically make an interbank transfer using a WCBDC, wholesale CBDC, to the beneficiary's financial institution on the HKMA's ledger. Moving on, I want you guys to see this here. This has to do with the digital e-HKD, China's digital dollar.
So we are doing a lot of stakeholder engagement similar to what the Bank of Israel is doing in this respect. So this gives a very brief overview of the 16 pilots that we've been doing with the firms. You can see we can categorize them into 6 major categories, namely full-fledged payments, programmable payments, offline payments, tokenized deposit, settlement for Web3 transactions, and settlement for tokenized asset. I will go into these 6 major categories a little bit more in my later presentation. But as you can see, there's a dotted line in between. So what does that mean? So on the left-hand side, we kind of come to a view that these 3 categories can be done even today in the more traditional world. For example, you can, of course, use your CBDC to make payments. And programmability or conditionality is something that we have seen in some of our daily life today as well. And of course, with cash, we can also do a lot of offline payment, but we'll expect to allow offline payment for a digital e-HKD as well. But on the right-hand side, those are the things that are getting us into the new world, in the tokenization world that we'll see. I think tokenization in general is like a very hot topic in the finance world today. So the right-hand side are all use cases that were related to tokenization. Enhance this settlement process through the use of tokenized deposit. The next one is to use a e-HKD to perhaps settle some of the transaction on the Web3 space. Today, you can't really do it. Like, you have to rely on stablecoin to do all the on-ramping and off-ramping activities. And in Hong Kong, the government has issued a policy statement last year to really push to develop our Web3 ecosystem in Hong Kong. So a e-HKD can potentially be like a more efficient and direct settlement instrument for all these kind of Web3 activities. And it can provide also price stability and also confidence that would be needed to empower other kind of financial innovations.
So the e-HKD will be used for their settlements. Fantastic. The current population right now in Hong Kong, because this is the e-HKD, the Hong Kong digital dollar, current population, 7,493,782. Okay? So, HKUST survey, over half of Hong Kongers likely to use the e-Hong Kong dollar, okay? Half, more than half, as Hong Kong actively pursues the possibility of issuing its own retail central bank digital currency, the e-Hong Kong dollar, the e-HKD. The School of Business and Management of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology today, October 4th, announced that findings from its recent survey on the general public's perception of e-HKD. Half. More than half. So if we're going to do some math, so let's do some quick math here. Some quick maths. Quick maths. There is the current population, right? If more than half is going to use that, we're going to go 7, 4, 9, 3, 7, 8, 3, 8, 2. We're going to divide that by 2. So we're looking at approximately this amount of people using that digital e-HKD. All right? That's insane. That's 3.7 million people using it. So if we're going to use China's, we know this going to be 3.7 million people, at least, because it says more than half. So if we know this 3.7 million people, at least, in 2022, the GDP of Hong Kong amounted to around 2.82 trillion Hong Kong dollars. Okay? So if we're looking at that, if we are looking at this now correctly, okay? Where was that? It was $2.82 trillion. That is, in US dollars, that is 361,114,818,000 dollars, US dollars. That's how much is going to be settled using XRP if more than half of the e-HKD is being utilized. This isn't my just making things up out of my head. I've given you guys the numbers here. I've shown you how we get these calculations based off of the 7.49 million people, and they are settling. Half of that will be utilized. We've gone over the GDP, which is 2.8 trillion. 2.8 trillion Hong Kong dollars converted to USD is that number right there. Hope you guys found value in this. I hope you understand how XRP, and that's only one economy. I hope you understand the magnitude of this, because when Canada gets on board, when US gets on board, when UK is ready, when Sweden's probably ready now through Riksbanks, when Africa's ready, when BRICS, when Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, UAE, when they are all ready, because those are partners of Ripple as well, utilizing XRP. So when they are all ready and they're done the POCs and ready to release all of this, get ready for that tsunami. I hope you found value in this show. As always, much love.
We're living it up, palm trees with sea breeze.